Welcome to another edition of the McEnulty Method, where we're joining financial expert Frank McEnulty and Colin Sorrells as they share their expertise and knowledge with us so that we might live smarter financial lives. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And Frank, I understand we have sort of a special edition here because you want to do a little ranting.
Well, there's a couple of things I want to get off my chest about this, and I like to, on the weekends when I'm driving around, I like to listen to radio shows from investment people to see what they have to say and all of that. And it dawned on me the last time I was listening to people, okay, what are they selling? And how is that coloring what they're telling you to do? It's, and this doesn't affect a lot of our audience because it's much younger, but reverse mortgages. They were talking, this lady on their half-hour show talking about reverse mortgages, how wonderful they are, how great they are, how it helps you unlock your equity. But what they don't tell you is how much they cost you. They cost you a tremendous amount of money up front. That literally, if you died the day after you take out this reverse mortgage, you're going to owe the mortgage company tens of thousands of dollars. Almost, in a lot of cases, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. So I think with anything, when anybody's giving you financial advice or telling you what to invest in or giving you, ask what's in it for them. Why are they doing this? Why are they telling you to do this? Because here we have no profit motive. We maybe should, but and people could say, well, you get what you pay for. But my whole goal here is to just help people realize when they're young, what's the best course of action for them to take. So that's my first comment of the day.
Well, even for the younger people in the audience, they, for the most part, they're all going to have parents, and hear more and more people talk about in a reverse mortgage. It's like they don't want to sell their house because it's like wherever they want to move is generally more. So, like I said, I hear more and more about them.
Well, I can. Colin mentioned he'd never even heard of them. So
no, and this is why I like this little rant you have, because I think a lot of times what we talk about on here is the simple things. These things that are very basic. People have been doing it for decades and decades and decades. You get out there when you're a young adult, and there's always something new. I go to back to this sort of crypto digital assets, and I don't know enough to comment specifically, but we started with cryptocurrencies, and then this thing called NFTs came out. And people are paying wild amounts of money. And I don't want to criticize anybody. I don't know enough about it to do that. But when you're young, you're going to get a lot of people coming your way. Hey, did you hear about this great new thing? I hear reverse mortgage. I'm like, that sounds interesting. That sounds like, what is that? That sounds new and exciting and something I can get in on. And, you got to be careful about those things because a lot of it is just people trying to sell you crap.
Well, I'm not saying they're 100% wrong. Okay. But you need to understand the cost. Now I can go through a real quick example of how they work. Say, I'm going to try to use numbers that work evenly. Say your parents are 70, 75. Okay.
Oh,
and they have a $1 million house, no loan. So they're sitting on $1 million. Okay. So depending on the company, what these reverse mortgage companies will do, they'll lend you, in essence, 50% of the equity of the house, prorated over the balance of your expected life, which goes to 100. So we've got $1 million in equity. So 50% of that's 500,000, and they're going to divide that by 25 for the 25 years they have left. So they're going to give you $20,000 a year based on a monthly payment. Okay. Not the end of the world, but up front, you're going to pay 6 and in some cases 18% points on this loan. So on the 18%, if you get a $500,000 loan, you're paying $90,000 in points. So on day one, you have a $90,000 loan, and they may not have given you a payment yet. That's why I say you got to be careful. But like Bill says, if that's you need the money, you need to live, just make sure you understand, and they're not treating you poorly. They're not overly costing you, because they love to charge too much in fees when you don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny you say 75. I have two parents who are 75, and I think they've been hassling with some retirement accounts recently, and I remember walking up to them. I was like, they're not finance people, but well, what's the fee for if you want to move it from these people to another people? What are they charging you every year? All these different fees. And I'm like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I mean, you're what, you got a house. Like, I guess I can't get on you too much, but when you're young and you really don't know anything, it's important to do that research, to not just get caught up in what sounds new, what sounds fancy, what sounds good, they'll try and sell it to you like this is a good deal for you. And, you got to understand, I think what you're talking about is what are, and whether you want to call them hidden costs or not, what are the costs? There's no free money in this world. What do I give up for this?
Right. I think the same thing goes for life insurance. There's life insurance, and especially annuities. Almost universally, people say don't do annuities. Now, once again, there are reasons for that where they make sense. If you have somebody who isn't going to be able to take care of themselves, and you want to make sure they are cared for the rest of their lives, that's probably a good place for annuity. Otherwise, annuities are very expensive products that people make a lot of money selling, which means you're paying them a lot of money to have them sell it to you. So remember, it's your money. We talked previously about, if you could save $5,000 a year or $6,000 a year in a Roth IRA, how much money you'd have in 40 years. So think about it. If you just do that, you never have to pay anybody any fees. You never have to pay anybody. You just open an account with, I like Schwab, but I know younger generation likes Robinhood and other places. You open an account and put your money there. Make sure it's protected, though. The worry about Robinhood is, do they have the financial wherewithal to stay in business? Because you really don't want to put your money, be this great saver, save for the next 38 years, and all of a sudden, oh, wait, we went bankrupt and we don't have your money. Which is why when it comes to investment, a lot of times bigger may be better to keep your money someplace.
Too big to fail. That's what you're looking for.
That's exactly.
That's right.
Government's going to bail them out. And my other gripe is that I need people who watch these to get back to me and talk and ask questions as to, okay, I'm having a hard time saving. What can we do? We need to hear from more people as to how we can help. When it comes right down to it, a lot of this is not that hard. It's just developing good habits. And so, it's how do we get people to develop good habits rather than say, well, I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. It's like the old saying, when's a good time to have kids? Bill, when?
Never.
You just have to do it. And it's the same with saving. You can always come up with a reason not to have kids. You can always talk yourself into a reason not to get married. You can always come up with an excuse not to do something. But sometimes you just have to do it. And that's what I really want people to just, maybe a New Year's resolution you can actually follow is take that $5,000 chart from our last episode and make a commitment to do that. I truly think that by the time you're done with the year, you'll say, oh, this wasn't that bad.
And speaking of that chart, even if you don't make the 5,000, if things come up, hey, if you make 3,000, you're still going to end up with a couple of $1 million in 30, 40 years.
Well, let's say, okay, your income's not that great. You're having a tough time. Do 1/10 of it. Save $500 for the year. Think about how much better you'll sleep at night with just $500 in the bank. So if your car breaks or something happens where you need money, it's yes, not everybody can save 5,000, but can you save 500? I'm not going to say you can because I don't know who you are, but it's doing what you can. You're talking about your future. You can't just say, oh, it'll be fine. It won't be. You want to have to live with your kids that you don't even have yet when you get older because you have no money?
And there's never a good time to have them. So,
Right.
You're really in trouble.
You might not have them.
All right. This, I think maybe for a future episode, we could take another look at some very simple ways that you can cut costs and save money painlessly. Because I know you've talked about them in the past. You guys have both mentioned some stuff. So I think one more time here at the beginning of a new year, it's always helpful to help us, you can help us form better habits.
That's right. We go into the new year, get good habits and make sure you trust the sources you're listening to.
Yeah. And we're not even trying to make you do anything like go work out every day.
Another big plus.
So.
All right. Well, gentlemen, this was fun and informative as always. So I guess we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.